Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, whenever time you're watching this. I wanted to do Madeline's birth story for y'all because I think I might have typed it up, but I wanted to actually do a video because I also like looking back on these. So I'm gonna post this on Instagram and YouTube. So depending on which platform you're watching this on, drop below in the comments and say hi or whatever. So okay, let's just get into this. So if you've been following me for a while, you know that Sophia and Oliver came at 38 weeks on the dot with both of them. So they were 2 weeks early. Miss Little Madeline here, she gave us a run for our money. So she made us, we had to wait and be very patient with her. So my 38-week appointment, I got checked. I was a 1, almost a 2. Did membrane sweep. Did nothing. So I was just like, okay. So 39 weeks, they checked me. And I was still 1 or 2. And I was just like, we're not doing a membrane sweep because I didn't want to have contractions for no reason. Because if I wasn't going to go into labor, membrane sweeps can irritate you and make you have contractions, but they don't progress you in any way. So I was just like, no, I'm good. I don't want it. So 40 weeks comes around. Here I am, still pregnant. Made it to my due date. And I was just like, at that point, I was just completely miserable. I was big, huge. I could barely do anything because of how big I was. It was just, I was uncomfortable. The whole 9 yards. I couldn't sleep, nothing. So we talked about self-inducing. And this is something I want to tell y'all. If you're going through, for me, I had an OB with my 2 prior pregnancies, 3 if you include Savannah. With Madeline, I decided to have a home birth. So things I knew were going to be different of how we went about things. So with my home birth, with self-inducing, they do induce with castor oil. Now, before any of you, go through my comments and say how bad it is to do this, talk with your care provider and see what they say before you try trying any sort of drinks or anything that you have heard of that are out there. For us at 40 weeks, 5 days, we decided to self-induce for a few reasons. 1, I was done being pregnant. 2, my babies just seemed to keep getting bigger and bigger. And I was way bigger than I was with Oliver. So I had a feeling she was going to be at least a few ounces bigger. So we did self-induce with castor oil in this smoothie form. It was completely nasty. I don't even recommend doing it because it just tastes ugh. I have the hardest time even to this day eating grease food just because it was so gross, so nasty. I don't recommend it. If your care provider says to do it and you can do it, totally go for it. Just warning, it's super oily, it's just nasty. But anyway, so we did self-induce with castor oil. So I took their 2 smoothies that they recommend me to take back to back. While this was happening, they were here at the house with us. So I took my first smoothie at 10 o'clock in the morning. And nothing really happened. We were cleaning the house. I started kind of having period cramps, but I guess I have a super high pain tolerance because I was in discomfort pain, but I was just whatever. I was still doing stuff. Thomas and I were still going for walks. Around 1 p.m. they had me take the second drink, and that's when they were heading on over. And so we grabbed food ourselves to eat too. And by 7:30 that night, nothing was going on. I was having periodic cramps. I could tell I was having contractions, but they were to me, they seemed so mild. So this is the thing with labor and delivery. Everybody's journey and story is different. So for me, what I thought was, not painful might be excruciating pain for somebody else. So everyone has, their own level of pain, tolerance and stuff. So they checked me at 7:30. I was still a 1/2. I think I might have been almost a 2.5 at that point. I don't exactly remember. I just remember feeling so just defeated because I was well, if this doesn't work and I want to get her out again, we'd have to wait 24 hours to redo the castor oil again because you have to wait, I guess, so long to redo the drink or whatever to have it out of your system. And I knew by the time I had my second one, I was not taking the drink again. I was like, that stuff is nasty. No, thank you. So, they ended up leaving. They had another mom who's in labor. And so since I wasn't progressing out, we were just okay, let's just wrap it up for tonight. If things, pick up, we'll give you guys a call. So that night, my parents ended up having the older two kids because we just didn't know like how things were gonna go. So when they left, we were like, okay, we're just gonna like rest up because labor could have started up later. We had no idea what was gonna happen. So I told Thomas, I was like, I was still having on and off contractions, but they weren't crazy painful. I was like, I want you to lay down and get some rest because if this is labor, I want one of us to be rested to be able to take care of Maddie after she gets here because we formula feed. So he could take care of her while I needed to sleep for a few hours if I wanted to. So 10 o'clock comes around and I could feel contractions picking up, but they still were not crazy. They were not crazy painful. So Thomas was laying in bed. I was going back and forth. We had like the birthing pool in the middle of the room set up. It just wasn't full of water. And I was going back and forth between the bathtub and our bed. And I, like when I was in our bed, I had my head in the pillow with my like hips up, rocking back and forth, through the contractions because that was the only way that was comfortable. I was doing that back and forth until 4:45, I believe, in the morning. And that's when Thomas was like, are you okay, Hannah? Like, do you want me to call them? And I literally remember telling him like, oh no, I'm fine. And then I started walking out like I was going to go downstairs. And I started walking towards our bedroom door. And we have Maddie's dresser right there. And I like was bent over in pain. And I was like breathing through the contraction. And when it was done, I told him, I was like, yeah, it's like, I think it's time to call them. Like they're picking up and they're getting more intense. So I wasn't in tons of pain. Like I wasn't screaming or anything. But I could tell that they were picking up. And they were getting more intense. So he calls them. I believe they got here like at 5:30 in the morning. Like they just gave birth to this other mom and they came to our birth. So it was like they were kind of like back to back with their births, which is kind of interesting because there's like 3 or 4 of us that gave birth like back to back to each other. But anyways, and so they got here. We started filling up the birthing pool. I was like kind of pacing just kind of through the house. Got in the birthing pool and they what they recommend is you're in the birthing pool for an hour, then you get out for an hour and you go back and forth. Well, by like 8 p.m. in the morning, my contractions had just kind of like really tapered off. Like they just kind of like started going away. Well, I got out of the birthing pool, or I stood up and I didn't really say anything to anybody, but I all of a sudden had this feeling like I felt like her head dropped, but I wasn't quite sure. I was like, was that her head? So the pool needed to be heated up anyways, and so one of my midwives was like, I want you to go and walk like sideways, like 1 foot up, 1 foot down the stairs. So I started doing that, and like instantly, like 2 times going up and down, my contractions instantly picked up. I was like, holy guacamole, like they're now intense. Like I had to I couldn't talk through them. I had to focus on breathing through them. So I knew things had picked up, but I was not expecting to be near like delivery. So we were downstairs here in the kitchen, and one of my midwives was down here with us, and they were telling me like to hold my belly up to try to help like baby drop down. While I was doing that, all of a sudden during one of the contractions, I was like, I cannot hold my belly up. I was like, if I don't hold on to something, I feel like I'm going to fall over, just because how intense they were. Like I had to be, holding on to something. So this was at 9:40 in the morning. So she's like, okay, she's like, after your next contraction, she's like, let's make it back upstairs and I'll check you if you're okay with that, because I had not been checked since 7:30 night prior. Mostly because I just was like, I didn't want to keep getting checked for one, and it's not necessary to be checked every few hours like you are in a hospital birth. Like hospital births and home births are completely different. Like if you get a chance to experience a home birth, it's worth every ounce of pain you'll go through. But anyway, so we went upstairs, and they're like, okay, we're going to check you and see where you're at. And my midwife was like, oh my gosh, she's like, you're at an 8, almost a 9. And she's like, I can feel your water bulging. She's like, we can go ahead and break it if you want to, or you can let it break naturally. Like, it's up to you. And at that point, because I was just so tired and just like, I was at that my done point. I just knew I was tired. I needed sleep. I was done being pregnant in general. So I was just like, no, I said, go ahead and break my water. That's fine. So they broke my water. We went from our bed, I got into the pool, and Thomas got in the pool with me at that point because he was going to catch Maddie. And we were in the pool for maybe like 30 seconds before my contractions got so intense. Like they intensified by like 20, but because it happened so quick, I don't really feel like I had like a really good reaction other than I just remember being like, ow, 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 is all I was saying. Like I was kind of like bending over the birthing pool, my head facing outside the pool. And Thomas was like rubbing my back and hips. And I remember being like, I have to push, like I need to push. And so they're like, go ahead, like listen to your body, like whatever you feel like you need to do, go do it. So I started pushing, and I'm not even kidding, Maddie came so quick. She was born at 10:08 a.m. and Thomas was able to catch her and bring her out, so the midwives could help put her on my chest. When she did first come out, she needed like a little assistance with like breathing and stuff, but after that she was like good to go. I had no tearing, nothing. It was the weirdest thing going from like giving birth in the pool, and then like I got to go take a shower like as soon as I had her. Like Maddie was like maybe 30 minutes old, maybe if that, maybe 45 minutes. I gotta go take my own shower, which was so nice, you guys, to not have to like lay in bed from having an epidural, because I've had 3 epidurals technically. So being able to like get up and, you know, go do whatever I wanted was amazing. Like having a natural birth, yes, it's painful. I am not gonna lie to y'all, it is painful. But being able to get up and do whatever I wanted was like amazing. Like I had never experienced anything like that. When they say the water is like an epidural, they don't mean it literally takes your pain away. It's like a freeing feeling that you can move around and it relaxes you so well. So yeah, so that's our home birth story. If you guys have questions about having a home birth or anything like that, like DM me, comment on my, you know, my video. I won't hold anything back from you guys. Like I'll tell you guys all the nitty gritty and all that stuff. If we were to have any more kids in the future, which who knows, maybe we will, I would have a home birth all over again. It was 110% worth everything, like everything, y'all. Just like, it wasn't stressful. I didn't have to worry. If you're kind of like me, I'm one of those people, I like to know what's going to happen at each time hour when I'm in labor. And I do not like hospital births when you don't know, like, am I going to have to get taken back for a C-section, or, you know, excuse me, which that can still happen with a home birth. There can be complications. But knowing, like, they're not going to check you just to check you for their convenience, like, they want you to be comfortable, is amazing. Like, they're straight up amazing. And like, they came in, my midwife, Saturday, so Maddie was born Sunday morning. Saturday when they were here while we were trying to self-induce, they literally were doing my dishes and putting laundry away. Like, they are amazing. Like, I was not expecting that at all. Like, I was just kind of expecting us to like sit around and, you know, whatever, chit chat, whatever. And no, y'all, they literally just like came in and they're like, okay, they need help with this and they need help with this, like, let's get it done before baby gets here and stuff. Like, life stuff that just is like, it's life changing. Like, that's stuff that helps us not have to, I don't know if life changing is the right word, but like, I guess kind of, but like, they came in and they were just little angels, you guys. Like, it was just the sweetest thing ever. And they all were so sweet. Their midwife in training was freaking amazing. Like, normally I don't let people that are in training anywhere near me. I'm like, I don't want you near me. But this girl was so freaking sweet that I was like, yeah, I was like, do my blood work, like, whatever. Like, she was not your typical, like, you know, in training student, which was really cool too. And I think it was because it was midwifery and it wasn't like an OB office or a hospital. But y'all, it was a freaking amazing experience. We do have Madeline's birth on video, but obviously we're not sharing that with anybody because it's kind of like intimate and just personal to us. I have thought about like blurring out down there and posting it, but I don't think we're going to. I think we're just going to save that for us, and if she wants to see it when she gets older, she can. But seriously, y'all, if you have an opportunity to have a home birth, or even not just a home birth, but just have a natural birth, 110% worth it. For me, I loved it. I know it's not for everybody. From having epidurals and knowing the side effects of epidurals and long-term effects of epidurals, for me, like, I have back pain for life from having my epidurals, and I didn't want that with Maddie. I didn't want to have to go through that again, for one, but for two, one thing they don't tell you when you got an epidural, you, like, if depending how far into labor you are, when they'll let you get one, they make you like bend over, like curl over the bed with like usually they put like a pillow in front of you. And y'all, if you're in that much pain, you don't want to be in an uncomfortable position. I was with Oliver. I was at almost a 9 when I got my epidural with him. I don't recommend it. Like, I wish I would have just gone all natural with him, because knowing how quick things went with Maddie, I know things would have gone just as quick with him. So anyways, not to ramble on, but that is my home birth story, vlog, whatever you're gonna call it, depending on the platform it's on. So yeah, so I hope you guys enjoy. If you have any questions for me, definitely feel free to DM, comment, any of that stuff. I'm literally an open book. I'll give you all the nitty gritty. If you're currently expecting and you want to have a home birth, or first time mom and you've never experienced pain, I can totally tell you like my experience and like what helped me and what to try and stuff. Definitely like Google and go onto YouTube and look up different people's like home birth stories and like what worked for them, and like every single person's gonna be different. And I think too, mindset is a huge thing. So anyways, I'm gonna try to keep this short since we're already at 16 minutes. So anyways, I hope you guys have an awesome rest of your day, and I will see you guys later.